smart learning category is coming to us from Australia. Is it? Austria. I traveled for 21 hours, not to be mistaken about this, for sure. Well, let me welcome Talentify.me, Bernard and Doris Hoffer.
Wow, that's cool. It's a nice view. I have to make a selfie later, so if I forget it, please remind me to make a selfie. It's an honor to be here, but especially I want to thank everybody to really make education a topic, especially learning. Because in a lot of innovation contests, it's not on the list. That's a pity. I'm representing Talentify today. In the next couple of minutes, I will tell you a little bit more about our vision. And our vision is a simple one. We think and we believe that every child, regardless of the socioeconomic background, regardless who his or her parents are, should have the same chances in life. Unfortunately, that's not the case, especially in countries like Austria. You can name it hashtag first world problem, but it is a huge problem. And we face two challenges. One is what I mentioned, education is inherited, which means the chances of a kid are highly dependent on the socioeconomic background of the parents, which leaves a lot of young children at the age of 10, at the age of 14, without a perspective in life, which will be a huge socioeconomic problem for all of us. And this fact is especially in first world countries like Austria and in the European Union deepened by a very expensive extracurricular tutoring market. Just here in Austria, 120 million euros are spent on out-of-school tutoring, which deepens the problem, because who has the money to pay 32 euros in average an hour? It's just families with higher income. And all the kids from families with lower income don't have access to it. A big study in Austria recently asked 3,000 households if it's a financial problem for them. 50% said yes. But the second problem and the second challenge is also a huge one. If you ask kids in school what their big questions are, they say, what should I do after school? And what are my talents? Because nobody in schools right now is answering those questions. And then we ask them also, what's interesting for you? What would you like to learn in school? And then they name us those things, like social skills. Some things like creativity, personal development. Those are the things young people are interested in. A huge one is teamwork. Does anybody know what teamwork is called in school? It's cheating. Because if a couple of people try to solve a problem, they call it cheating, and you get an F. But this is one of the main skills you need outside of school, working together with other people, solving the problems of the future. And who are the people who will solve our future problems? It's not us, it's our kids. And they run through a system which was designed for the 19th and 20th century. And that's a huge problem. And therefore, I will ask you to join a revolution. Because discussions in politics nowadays, they are not about the vision for education. They try to fix a system which was built 150 years ago. And in our sense, that's the wrong discussion. We should think about a revolution from the bottom up, and think about what we should give our children. And in our sense, let's enable students to understand the world and nurture the talents within them. But why? So they can become a fulfilled individual, an active citizen in our community. Please don't quote me with this slide. It's from Sir Ken Robinson. He's a little famous, more famous than I am, so please quote him on it. But I think it's really important, this message, because that should be a vision of the education system of the future. And a revolution usually starts bottom up, with those who are on the lowest chain of the system, and those are the students. It's not the teachers, it's not us, it's the students. Because they have to live in our world in 40 years, hopefully. And probably, do you recognize me? That's mini-me in 2003. When I was still at technical high school in Innsbruck, so I'm from Tyrol, and we found a little project at school. So we as older students learned with younger students in a classic peer-to-peer system. And that's the thing we started 2 years ago again. Now it's called 25Me. It's basically an online platform where we bring together older students to learn with younger students. And that's a win-win situation for both. The older ones not just deepen their knowledge and strengthen their social skills, they take responsibility for somebody else. And if you take responsibility for somebody else, everything changes because you grow as a human being. Another win situation is for the younger ones because it's much easier for them to learn with a same-age person, much easier than learning with a teacher or an older person. And in this win-win situation, or around this win-win situation, we built a platform. It's called 25Me. It's online, it's mobile, kids can use it on their smartphones, they can offer help, and they can seek for help in their vicinity when they are looking for something. And we added another thing, it's gamification. So for every hour of tutoring an older student gives, they get bonus points. With a certain amount of bonus points, they come to the next level and gain a social status in the platform. And they can use it, as I said, with the apps. We are already doing a crowdfunding campaign for the Android version, so if you are for it, 20 euros will help a lot. But another important thing is students can invest those bonus points in academy. And in the Talentify Academy, those students learn a lot of things they don't learn at school right now. It's about social skills, it's about personal development, stuff they told us. Behind me stands a huge team. We're working together with my beautiful wife, she's sitting here today. We have an external team, we have education professionals, and we have a strong advisory board, so 13 people, all in all, are helping us to develop the whole system. As I mentioned first, we are a social business. So Talentify.me is our non-for-profit part in the center, but we try to answer also those questions, what should I do after school? So in the end, with Talentify.me, Talentify Academy, and Talentify Works, we also offer a travel agency for the first job. So we help kids at the age of 12 or 13 find out where their talents are, what perspectives they have, and then help them finding a job. If it's an apprenticeship or after graduating from high school, it doesn't depend. We help them in school, outside school, and then to the first job. Yeah, my time is up. We won a couple of prizes, we want to scale it. Also in the CEE region, it's not just an Austrian thing, and yeah, and now I'm leaving you with the social impact and looking forward to the questions. Thank you.
I believe we have a question from our jury.
I think you're right about this revolution in education and in the world and kind of opposite, and I agree with this. And the next step is that you make a kind of app or a kind of service where people can attend, and it's only a small part, helping each other. And then you say, well, it's about gamification, and people have to gain results, and then they get to a higher level. And then they are again competitors instead of working together. And I want to see the relationship between this game and the idea behind it, helping each other, and the real world. What to do, how to connect it to education.
Thank you very much for the question. Sorry for explaining completely, because there you got me completely wrong. There's no leaderboard. There's not somebody who is winning and competing against each other. It's a platform to empower young people to help each other. We call it capacity building. Yeah? It's about, like we started in high school, we saw that from the first grade to the second grade in technical high school, we lost 7 young people because of their socioeconomic background. And we took action and helped the ones in the next year, learning with them mathematics, taking care of them. Yeah? So it's not about competing, it's about giving them a platform which makes it easier for them to help each other. And it's one small step, but it's from those who are suffering from the system. And our part, what we would like to contribute, is giving them a tool to do something. Not to sit there and say, okay, you have to change the system and you have to change that. No, they can go outside offering help and do something now to try to change the system. The gamification concept is more about giving them extrinsic motivation to do it more often. from intrinsic motivations, because they want to do something good, something social. But with 3 to 5%, you doesn't reach enough people to really make a movement out of it. So we added this extrinsic motivations with the bonus points. It's just an addition. Yeah? And students, they can decide if they want to do it for free or to a maximum of 10 euros per hour. And 1/3 of those young people do it for free. They could earn money, but they do it for free. So what we do is like an amplifier, an empowerment. And they meet online first, but then they meet offline. And for kids from lower socioeconomic families, they have perspective, because if they meet somebody from a high school or from a more richer family, say easy, they also gain perspectives because they met somebody they would have never met in their surrounding. Yeah. So don't get it wrong. It's not just about gamification and gaming.
Yeah, good vision, good product family at the end of the presentation. Just a few basic questions with regard to the construction of the network. Basic onboarding challenges, standard dual network setup. How do you control the quality? I saw that you had it's obviously an issue, the rating system. And then more questions on the market entry. What do you do when you go into, whether it's a micro or a macro market? What are those first initiatives that you do as you go in?
Thanks. For the rating, basically it's very easy. We do the same thing as eBay does and all the other platforms. The students just get bonus points if they rate each other. So both get bonus points and both can rate each other. It's not a rating based on text, it's just was the other on time or not, and a star rating. Yeah? And so that's one part, how parents or younger kids can see how the ratings were from the older ones. Yeah? The second thing is that we have the so-called talentometer, which gives an introduction to the activity in the platform. So if I give tutoring often, my talentometer status is higher. And so it's also a quality issue if I go to somebody who is giving tutoring on a regular basis or just once a year. Yeah? And the third thing is, with partners together, we do basic pedagogical workshops with kids. It's 3 to 4 hours, and they can join it or not. But those who go through this workshop, they get a little badge to their profile picture, and so other people who are seeking help see if they did this workshop with us or not. So that's about the rating system. Market entry is very interesting because the kids to reach them is very difficult directly. And that's good that it's difficult, because otherwise schools would be full of advertisements. But we have 3 strategies. So we're working with students' representations, because there's a legal form, usually, also for students to organize themselves. And those are the representatives of students, so those are partners from us. Then we work together with the schools, because schools also benefit from such a system. A lot of schools use Talentify.me as a marketing tool, because they tell the parents, we do more for our students. We have a peer-to-peer learning system at our school, so you don't have to pay 32 euros an hour to go to a tutoring company, because we have a peer-to-peer system on our school. And the third market entry point for us are extra or out-of-school organizations from young people. There are a lot of organizations, associations outside of school where young people come together, even if it's sport, mountaineering, there's the Alpenverein in Austria, there's the youth section of the Red Cross, which are partners, where we also reach those kids to bring them together. But it's market entry is a very difficult one. We just scale to the whole country. Yeah? We, starting next week, we will have partner schools in every state in Austria. But if we want to scale it international, we need a strong partner who knows the system, who knows the entry points to make it more synergistic.
So we have here a business model and also the social part, also the business part. So it's a bit unclear to me what your content strategy is, and so whether you want to valorize this, for example, like a LinkedIn, or for example, more like Facebook,
yeah.
Your product. So what's your vision?
The vision on the business part.
You have a vision on the business part.
Yeah.
So who owns the content?
Yeah.
Whether it's academy or like the interaction between them on the platform.
So basically, Talentify.me is not for profit. It's the entry point for the youth. Yeah, the social part. Yeah. And then something happens, because at some point students leave school. Yeah. Some of them have a clear vision what to do. Usually those who have the doctors as parents and kinds like that. but a lot of them don't have any idea. So we help them in school with workshops. They are free for them when they spend bonus points. If they don't want to spend bonus points, they can also pay for it. So that's a small one. And then we discovered in Austria we have these dual education systems with a strong apprenticeship program, where 15-year-olds can attend 3 years of an apprenticeship. And there is a huge problem, dropout rates in the first year, because if a young person drops out of this apprenticeship program, they don't get a second apprenticeship. So they have basically no perspective, and they are in need, not in education or training. So we help companies in offering them to guide for 1 year their apprentices to help them don't be a dropout. And companies are paying us for helping them educate those apprentices. And the third part of the business model is a classical matchmaking recruiting part. This gap for young people who are seeking a job and what companies do with classic recruiting, like I want a CV of the 15-year-old, is crazy. Because there is no quality in it. There's no content strategy. We don't do advertising or something like that. We give companies a benefit for helping find them the right youngster for their company, and then they pay us a provision.
A short question. I very much like the idea of the platform. Is there an upper age limit? How do you deal with that? Are you including adults as well?
No.
Ah.
No, it's peer-to-peer between students, so it ends at the age of 19. Because in Austria, the boys, or the young men, sorry, have to do a year of social service or basic military service. We extended it for 1 year. So after they graduated from high school, they